Ethan Carter was one of the richest young entrepreneurs in the city. At just 32 years old, he owned luxury apartments, expensive cars, and a tech company worth millions. People admired his success, but deep inside, Ethan had one question he couldn't stop thinking about. How do people really treat someone with nothing? Not the version they saw on social media, not the version charities posted online, the real truth. So one cold Friday morning, Ethan made a shocking decision. He shaved his perfectly styled beard into rough patches, he wore dirty torn clothes, covered his face with fake grime, and sat on one of the busiest streets downtown with an old cardboard sign that read, "Hungry. Anything helps." He wanted to spend just one day living like the people society ignored. At first, he thought people might show some kindness, but within minutes, reality hit him harder than he ever imagined. People walked past him like he didn't exist. Some looked at him with disgust, others crossed the street to avoid him. A businessman in a designer suit muttered, "Get a job." A group of teenagers laughed and recorded him on their phones. One woman held her child's hand tighter and whispered, "Stay away from people like that." Ethan sat there in silence, his heart sinking. For the first time in his life, he felt invisible. Hours passed, no one stopped. No one cared. Then something happened that shook him. Around lunchtime, Ethan's stomach growled. He hadn't eaten all day. The smell of fresh food drifted from a nearby restaurant. Gathering courage, he walked to the entrance. "Excuse me," he asked softly. "Could I have some leftover food?" The manager looked him up and down, his face twisted in disgust. Then he shouted loud enough for everyone to hear, "Get away from here. You're scaring my customers." The people outside stared, some laughed. Ethan felt humiliation burn through him. Just as he turned to walk away, a small voice stopped him. "Sir. Wait." He looked down. It was a little girl, maybe 9 years old. Her clothes were simple. Her shoes were worn out. She held a small paper lunch bag. She looked nervous, but she smiled. "This is my lunch," she said, "but you look hungrier than me." Ethan froze. Inside the bag was a peanut butter sandwich, an apple, and a small juice box, probably all she had for the day. "You should keep this," Ethan said, but the girl shook her head. "My mom says if someone is hungry, and you can help, then you help." Ethan's eyes filled with tears. Before he could say anything, the girl ran back to her mother waiting nearby. Her mother gave Ethan a gentle smile. That single act of kindness hit him harder than anything else that day. A child with almost nothing had shown more compassion than hundreds of wealthy adults. But the biggest shock was still coming. As evening approached, Ethan stood up to leave. That's when he noticed the little girl and her mother sitting outside a bus stop. They looked worried. He quietly followed at a distance. He overheard their conversation. They had just been evicted. They had nowhere to go that night. The little girl was trying to act brave. "Mom, it's okay," she whispered. "We'll be fine." At that moment, Ethan made a decision. The next morning, he returned not as a homeless man, but as himself. He tracked them down through a local shelter. When the mother saw him, she was confused. Then Ethan explained everything. He told them about the experiment, about the cruelty he witnessed, and about the kindness their daughter showed when no one else would. Then he handed them a folder. Inside was the deed to a fully paid apartment in one of his buildings. 12 months of free rent, plus a scholarship fund for the little girl's education. The mother burst into tears. The little girl looked up and asked, "Does this mean we have a home?" Ethan smiled, "Yes. Because yesterday, when I had nothing, you gave me everything." That day changed Ethan forever. He later launched a foundation to help homeless families rebuild their lives, and he never forgot the lesson he learned. Sometimes the people with the least have the most to give. So if this story touched your heart, remember this: the next time you see someone struggling, don't look away, because one small act of kindness can change a life forever, and sometimes it changes yours too.